Welcome to Feminized. It's time for a show that turns the spotlight on the powerful women shaping cannabis culture. The cannabis industry is on fire and women are sparking it up. If you like the show, please subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Feminized podcast with Liz Grow on YouTube and Instagram. The future is feminized. In this episode, you'll meet Hannah Carlock, the head of cultivation at Goodland, Texas. Hannah is one of only a handful of people who have a license to grow cannabis in Texas, one of the most restrictive states in the nation. Enjoy! Hey sis. You're now listening to the Feminized podcast. I'm super excited about what we're doing right now. I mean, of course, I've just been dying to talk to you.
Thank you.
For many, many months when I learned of your existence.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah, so, I'm doing this Feminized podcast. And it's awesome because I get to talk to only women who are really doing big things in the cannabis industry. Yeah. And you are arguably doing the biggest thing in the cannabis industry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Growing legal cannabis here in the state of Texas.
You wouldn't exactly expect it. I know.
How did you get here?
How did I get here? Good question. So I've always loved all plants, but cannabis is one of my favorites. So I followed the lead of where the leaders in the industries were, and it was really on the West Coast and in Colorado. So I learned from a lot of really amazing people. And I got obsessed, like you do.
Yes, like you do. It pulls you in and you're not going anywhere.
Only the most beautiful plant ever.
So prehistoric.
I know, it's
wild. About it.
Yeah, and so I've just always loved it, and I just followed that path.
Okay. Now, so where are you from originally?
I'm from New Jersey, raised in New Jersey, and it is the Garden State. A lot of people don't know that. But yeah, I was raised in San Antonio after the age of 12. So, I'm a Texas kid. I think I consider myself a Texas kid. But yeah, okay. I've been here for a minute.
And then, you, of course, you had to leave to learn the craft of cultivation.
I did.
What was that like for you?
It was an adventure. I ended up meeting this really wonderful person while I was traveling in South America, and they were like, yeah, you should come to the West Coast. And I was like, I will. And you know how people are like, sure.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. Sure.
Yeah, come on by. And so I did, and I hollered and ended up just meeting this person who really inspired me to the max. They live a super fantasy-like existence in the redwoods, and I got to really see it firsthand and be a part of it, and I learned from this very old deadhead.
Yes.
And he taught me the ways, and he's kind of that type of person that just smells the rain and the wind and
yes,
so knows. I learned a lot about just intuition as far as plant care goes, and it was really fun to kind of have somebody that was so old school, teach me the ways, but really open to new stuff. We were always, researching together. It was really fun. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, that seems idyllic.
It was.
Really kind of learning from the source.
It was.
Not that he's the only, keeper of the source, but it seems like this deadhead community, I mean, they germinate.
They do. And they're everywhere.
Yes.
It is.
So many dear deadheads in my life. And I've never seen them in concert. I love Cherry Garcia ice cream.
Yeah, I know.
We've been listening, the more you get into this culture, the more you're like, wow, actually the Grateful Dead were really great.
I feel the same way. I was always more of a metalhead growing up, and so getting out onto the farms, I was like, oh, we have to listen to String Cheese Incident again? Cool.
The plants like it.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I've literally been told that.
Don't tell them that. Yeah. But it kind of pulled me back around, and really I do find the artistic nature of the community of musicians just kind of implores that world to gardening is a part of living that good life. Music, art, gardening is, how we're going to support ourselves in the future too. So,
Amen.
It's a good thing to kind of have under your belt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, and I'm very lucky.
So that called you, so you were called to Humboldt to learn under a Jedi Master.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
Why did you leave?
Good question. Well, I run a face and body painting business half the year, and then the other half the year I was growing. So I was doing both things, and I would come back here to run, because we have an insane festival season here. It's like 8 months long. So I would do a nice chunk of them here and just work every weekend super hard, and then I got to chill most of the week at the river. But then I would pack my bags and head over to the West Coast. So I just went back and forth.
Nice.
And I would make money on the West Coast and travel all winter, and then just start it again. So it's a nice nomadic life.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it worked well for me.
So what made you decide to not take a big girl job, so to speak, but
no, it is.
You have the biggest big girl job in the state.
I think it's pretty much out there. No.
What happened between, that festival life and going to the Redwoods and, growing, being the head of cultivation for Good Blend,
Thank you.
Texas?
That's a good question, because I do feel like it is something to say, because it's been a real effort for me, because I'm so used to being nomadic and very ethereal in my existence, and so traveling the world, and then I always come back to San Marcos because I love it here. But there was some part of me that was like, I'd really like to get my roots in a little bit deeper, and my dad lives on the West Coast and my mom's here. I love being with my mom. She needs a little bit more help, so I was thinking it would be fun to be by my mama. And then luckily I found out about this job from one of my best friends, Dylan. So it was wonderful. I've known Dylan probably the longest of anybody I've ever known in San Marcos, and he was like, yeah, it's possible we'll have an opening, and he kind of like made it like, hey, it'd be fun. And I was like, yeah, it would. But there was so many amazing people who were applying for this job. I'm so thankful, because I do have the experience, but I'm really glad I got in the door. And it is a serious job, but I have a lot of flexibility, and I have a lot of the plants, a lot of it we're watching them grow. So, but you do have to show up, and it's a lot of responsibility. So, and it makes me feel good to know that this responsibility is actually going to something. Like, I'm getting people medicine. It's not just like, oh, you have to be at your job at, this time for whatever desk number pushing. Like, it's different. I'm actually truly helping people. I think that was the inspiration for me to really feel like, okay, I can put my body painting a little bit on the weekends, or kind of push it, not to the back burner, but you know what I mean? Like, have a little bit more flexibility with that, and really focus on this. And because it's such a quality position, and I was like, let's do it. So
that is
felt good about it.
Such a great story.
Thank you.
Such a great story. I mean, you said so many things I wanted to jump in there and touch on. The first is that, let's just talk about it. You're one of a handful of people who has a license to grow legally in this state. And I don't know, maybe if we're able to talk about this or not.
Sure.
But how does it feel? Tell me how. Golly. It's a big responsibility.
Oh my gosh. I am going to wear this badge to the day I die. I love it. I'm so proud. Yes. And this isn't just like, ooh, I'm doing something cool. Like, this is cool and necessary. This is so imperative that not only are we giving the people who need this crutch a serious crutch, but it's relief in the most extreme form of the word. And just knowing that I'm helping provide this relief, and of course medically, but recreationally too. Don't we need a time to relax? And I want to push for that eventually, but here we're in this medical sector, and that's good for now.
That's right.
And I'm going to work on it. I'm going to keep pushing towards what I believe in, which is, the righteous experimentation of this plant for the betterment of humanity, So I'm in it. I'm with it. I'm behind it 100%.
God, man, that's incredible.
Thank you.
That spirit is exactly what we need to amplify and what we need to see more of.
I agree.
And I say we as cannabis consumers, or those interested in following, the news as patients, and laws in Texas, it can get very egocentric because we have a thriving liberty market.
Absolutely.
As we should, because we have 30 million humans in
the
state.
Yeah.
And this is a plant for us.
Yes.
So
I mean, it grows in nature. The fact that we're so hardcore trying to control it is interesting to me, considering its extreme medicinal values. But, here we are, and this is what we do have to do. I completely agree with you. It's super important, and I'm happy to see the way that it's being pushed, and we do have to fist up for this, because, it's something we believe in. I'm so thankful for your work and your commitment to these values, because this is what we're going for. We need people like you to to put it on the forefront of, you know, the burner for everybody to see. Because I don't have time for it in my brain, and I'm so glad you do.
Yeah, and that's
thank you.
Oh my God, thanks for saying that, because honestly, as I continue to do more, just interview more women in this way, because it's really just a conversation that we would have at a festival.
Anyway,
but here we are, good, we're mic'd up, and we're sharing it with other women, so that they can join the conversation.
Right.
And it's gonna, you know, myceliate from there, you know, another, you know,
I hope it does.
Plant that, you know, fungi.
Yeah.
It's a plant. It's a plant.
It's technically, I think they just call it a biological life form. That is like the biggest biological life form that we have so far from what we understand. But like, it is a mycelial action. I agree with you. Because it kind of is the change always never happens from above, right? It happens from below most of the time. And I think like that's kind of what you're referring to. Because women do need to see that, you know, the fact that we don't have a lot of women in the industry, it's interesting to me because it's such a fun, feminine type of thing for me. Gardening, having my hands in the soil, being with the earth, it feels feminine to me. The earth feels feminine to me. I'm sure there's both sides, but like, you know, being able to inspire others to the good feeling that watching a plant come to fruition feels. And I think women really get off on that, and I hope that we can continue to inspire through these actions, like me just having this position at all, you know?
Absolutely, and that is what women need to see, because I think, you know, certainly this plant draws so many women in, you know, as consumers. You know, it helps us in so many ways, but they, you know, growing it, and then so many other responsibilities in life. And I think, again, we put ourselves on the back burner, but you have legitimized it.
Thank you.
You know,
thank you.
And so actually, as a, you know, seeing this interview, I promise you there will be women who say, I'm going to go for it.
Dang,
I'm going to see if I can grow.
Please
because
join
maybe
us.
I can make it a job. Maybe I can make it a job.
Yes, I did not know. Everybody told me my farm job would add up to nothing. I'm like, actually, you guys, no, I really had no idea it would be this awesome. But I absolutely am so glad that it's a legit industry, that I'm holding a legit position, and I'm legal in Texas. Like, what? Legal. So cool. I wanna explore and implore other women to come and like look into this world with us, because we need you. That's what it comes down to. We need you.
Yes.
So,
what are you most excited about in the Good Blend Grow right now, or about the Good Blend Grow right now?
Oh, thank you for asking. So my position, I'm like a lead cloner. So I love cloning. I love genetics. I love understanding the way genetics are affected in, you know, the environment. Phenotypes are so interesting to me, and the fact that I get to be behind the scenes, and you know, it takes a soft hand to clone well. I love cloning. It's kind of my favorite thing, and of course, mom care, you know, but
that mother plant.
Yeah, it's
so
my mama.
It
is, and she's so healthy. They all look so good, just sitting happy in the back of our rooms, and you know, they're touched every day. They're held every day, and that to me is one of the best feelings, to have like that color green, like your top with the deep forest green, like of what the plant really looks like. And of course it changes as it goes into flower or whatever, but to see those greens around me makes me feel good. And I suppose that's why I really love cloning and seeing my babies turn up into, you know, sitting in vegetation, and then we get it. It's just so cool. Flipping, watching the cycles, you know, I love it. It's so neat that we've learned to control in such a way, and learn how to do it in such a way that like we have amazing results. We have like, you know, over 90-something%, you know, success. I think the last couple times was 100. Incredible. So it's fun to do, and that if I was to say what my favorite part is the fact that I get to be in charge of this.
Oh my God.
I know, I feel so lucky.
It's such a dream come true.
It's a dream job.
As you were saying that, it popped into my mind that I have your medicine. I have your plants in my body.
I noticed that. I noticed.
Oh my God, I'm having such a fangirl moment right now. I can't.
My job here's done. It really is wonderful. It's it's quality.
It is quality.
You know?
It's quality, and I can't say enough. Right. And I don't want to say too much, because, you know, if you say too much when you're dealing with so many skeptics, as we are in Texas, because the program is new.
Right.
And we've been, you know, messed around with for a
Quite
long
a bit,
time
yeah.
as cannabis consumers in Texas.
Right.
So we have to, a lot of people are skeptical, but
Absolutely.
these products are unreal.
Thank you.
They're consistent. They do what they say they're going to do.
Yes.
I never have an edible moment.
Yeah.
Which is so
It's
important because, if anybody
Sometimes
knows
people
me, I shy away. I'm very careful with edibles because
I mean, as you should be.
Moments. In the hotel room.
Right. Did you hear that? No, it's true. And like, that's the thing, right? You want to have exact calibrations. We need scientists doing this, and we do. We have some of the best people in the game in Texas right now working for us at Good Blend, and we have so many minds that are really like high quality, high functioning people that are really like going the mile to make our products top level. And I mean, I'm so proud of them. I really am. They're really wonderful, and like you said, consistent, and that's what we want.
Yeah,
and plus, people don't quite understand. They're like, oh, are your edibles like, what you got in Colorado and California? I'm like, yes, as a matter of fact, they are.
They're stronger.
They're stronger. And I do feel like if people knew what the medical industry stipulations are in Texas right now, a lot of people would qualify with PTSD, undiagnosed PTSD. Number one thing that actually, like, who doesn't have that this day and age?
If you survived 2020, then you have PTSD.
Yeah.
I have diagnosed you.
As a matter of fact, yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, we all thought the world was going to end.
And we do think, like, we're getting to this point now where we're like, okay, at least it's a little bit behind us. But yeah, it was really pretty much next level. And, all of us had to get to a point where we're like, that was a little bit traumatic.
Just a tad bit. And what's interesting too is that if you've ever had a concussion,
right,
and you have had headaches as a result of that concussion, which you do because it's a symptom, you will qualify for neurodegenerative disorder.
Absolutely.
I mean,
every single form of cancer. Like, we have an amazing umbrella right now, and it's like people don't really realize skin cancer. Yes, exactly.
And I'm
female issues.
I had something cut out of me a couple years ago. Like, I talked to my doctor. He's like, oh no, you got about 5 qualifications here.
You're rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you'd be surprised for the average person. Everybody that I talk to, they're like, in Texas, really? I'm like, yes, I'm waving this flag all dang day because I want people to know.
Yes.
And I thank you for the work again, because you're putting it online, you're getting the content out, and this is what people need to know. I still see people commenting on your posts asking like, oh, is this, real medicine, or is this just CBD? You're like, as a matter of fact, let me tell you.
I love bragging. But again, I don't want to oversell. I want people to find out for themselves. Because they can.
Absolutely.
We have to take agency over our own
Absolutely.
health. I wouldn't tell you to, go get a prescription for
Absolutely.
Prozac.
No.
But I am telling you that there's a great doctor, a number of great doctors who will see you online.
Right.
He'll have a conversation with you
Absolutely.
for free.
Exactly.
If you qualify and you get your prescription for a year, it's like $150.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Really reasonable.
Really reasonable, and it's an insurance policy.
I was just about to say,
Well, I'm not sure.
You can walk around, you can travel, you can, if you have it on you in the container, rock and roll.
It's amazing. My delivery driver told me that. He's like, just
so you know.
to remind you, don't take it out.
Yeah.
And then you can travel all over the state. I'm like,
yes.
It's like, you come to my house. And then you tell me I can take them all around the state.
Gifting
I really
you.
Need them.
Yes.
Because, I don't like to make light of PTSD because I do have a formal diagnosis.
Absolutely.
But I feel like we are all traumatized by the police, law enforcement presence here in Texas.
100%.
You're a cannabis user.
And like, I would really, absolutely, especially like being a young, punk rock kid with a shaved head. I kind of was a beacon for being messed with, to say that nicely. So, to say that like we've been traumatized is an understatement. Collectively, we all know that the police are there to help us. I hope. But
most of them are.
Yeah,
and I think they
good
are
vibes.
Traumatized. They themselves get traumatized when they have to
You are
mess
so
with
right.
somebody.
And I love your empathy on that, because you're right. That is it. And if they really knew like the dynamics of what the benefits of this plant was in a large scale, the way that we're trying to get this information across, if they knew.
And a lot of them do, and a lot of them are like, I just want to take CBD, but I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's so sad.
It really
what are
is.
we doing?
It really is. Even like CBD being legal, some this guy that I used to work with, he was like working outside. He had a lot of body issues. The only thing that helped him was like a higher dose of CBD, and he was getting drug tested. It was coming out, you know, on the panel, so that he was not able to take it anymore. And it's like, man, even with where we're at, you know, you would really hope for the, you know, pushings for us to be a little bit more understanding at this point.
Right, and then that's all we can do. That's all we can do, and that's the point of all of this, all of our work.
Right.
Okay, so before I let you go, I ask my guests the same 3 questions.
Okay.
All right. So, and if we have to edit one of them out,
that's fine.
We're gonna edit one of them
sure.
Because I want to know. I need to know.
Do
Hannah Carlock,
yes.
who is in your dream smoke circle, dead or alive?
Dang. So, like, that's an interesting question, because it's like, I don't know in the past who was a smoker or not, but like, I'm an artist, right? So my joy is to find other artists that get down with the creativity and like can really zen out on things. So my mom always told me she was gonna name me Vincent after Vincent van Gogh, and her stories, like, she's read me things from this human where I've just been like, that's someone I want to meet. Like, I don't care how crazy they are, he's in my smoke circle.
100%, the crazier the better.
I guarantee so many artists, like, across the board, so it's kind of hard for me to narrow down exactly who I would say, but if I was to like put a musician in, I would I'm the kind of person that now, after seeing the community of people on the West Coast and the love for jam bands, I do want to smoke with Jerry. I want to ask him questions. I have so many questions that I just like, unbelievable.
Brilliant.
So I know there's probably like 10,000 other people that I could post on and just tell you about. But yeah, I would have a really fun smoke circle if I could just like pick and choose.
And Jerry. Yeah, I mean, you could say Jesus Christ. You know,
hell yeah.
This is your fantasy smoke circle, okay? And you will not be limited, all right? Mine changes like an hourly basis.
Oh, I love that.
But okay, cool. So yes, great answers. Second question is, what other woman in cannabis today is inspiring you?
Good question. You know, I've been following so many people since I've gotten more in the industry. This very interesting world that we have on Instagram, where I'm just following people and being fascinated by them all. Like, I feel like there's probably at least 5 women that I've been watching that, like, I only know their Instagram handle. Like,
right. Oh, that's happened to me. I've been to conferences and it's like, I know you like so well. I just don't know your name.
Right. There was a chick named Miss Twilight that I hung out with her in Oregon, and every time she opened her mouth, I was just like, tell me more. And so I went to her garden, and everything that she had set up in her garden, I just felt like, that's genius. That's really smart. Did you come up with this yourself? And she was like, yeah, you know, like, I learned this from a 100-year-old guy up in, you know, Redding, California, or whatever, you know. And so I would honestly say Miss Twilight is like this beautiful woman that I particularly am in love with. But
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna follow Miss Twilight
please
too.
do.
Definitely.
Please do.
Yes.
And you know, there's like a mirage of other people that I feel like, you know, you see them online and you can say, oh wow, she's doing the work. You know?
Oh yeah.
And when you post about what you do, I know it seems like kind of a commercial type thing to do, but people see it. And they're inspired by it. And it's exactly what art and the community of what visual stuff does, right? It gets in your brain, and then you think about it later, and I'm like waking up from a dream, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this little thing that I saw on Instagram, and it was in my dream. And so I feel like that's pretty exciting to me, to just imagine that this is where we're at, and you know, we can just be continually inspired.
Absolutely. And control our message too, to a point. You know, there's so much censorship on the platforms, but you know, they're definitely not censoring. Well, I don't know. I don't want to put myself in that.
They are.
But I was going to say they're not censoring common sense, but they really are. Because
I was just about to say maybe a little bit, but
I mean, you can't even have a plant on Instagram. But again, we're working with what we got.
We are, and I was going to say that.
And people are still inspiring, but Miss Twilight, I'm definitely gonna
right. And if you can like come from a place of empathy, I think with all of this type of stuff, like we realized we're coming up against a serious wall. Like this is we're breaking it down slowly. We've got a jackhammer and we're doing what we can, but we are up against a serious wall of information that can be blocked or, we can sneak through. So I think that's exactly what you're trying to get at is we do what we can to make this statement, to fist up for the revolution because we know this is the right thing to do.
Yep.
And following at least the road of morality, which is like what you and I believe in, right? And what so many others do. I mean, 90-something% of the people that are in our community really truly believe this. It's not about the money or the this or that. It's about what the plant does.
Truly.
And we know it and we see it and we are nothing but thankful for it. So, here we are. Yeah, snap it. Feeling it.
So last question.
Please do.
Is what advice do you have for 13-year-old Hannah?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh man, that feeling of just knowing who I was. I've always been a pretty positive person, always been a fan. 13-year-old Hannah was a fan. And just experiencing what I have in life, I think I would just give myself a pat on the back and be like, it's gonna be okay. Like this world is really daunting, but I think I've always just been really forward thinking, and I see that in myself and in lots of people now, just like the hope and the joy and just to never give that up, and I think in life you get through lulls, you have lulls, right? Where you kind of need a kick in the butt.
Oh yeah.
And I think I would just tell Hannah, just keep on trucking, and to get to a point where, I can just stay confident every day through the words that come out of my mouth and the actions that I have and the ways that I walk around this world. You have to keep your chin up, believing that you're doing what you can, and like I said earlier, having the empathy and the morality that we have, especially as women. I just say it's pretty much innate a lot of the time. Of course, men feel it too, but there's a quality that I think women have where we're just so a part of intuition and the emotional well-being of not just ourselves, but others.
Yes.
And it feels good to be around you when you feel good. I don't want to be around you if you feel like crap. Well, I do, but you know what I mean. I want to take care, and if I can
help you get to
if I can
good
help
so
you, exactly. And that's the point. Just getting to there and really recognizing that is powerful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't even realize it, but I think you said Good Blend's tagline.
Yeah.
It just gets you feeling good.
I
want to get you feeling back to good. So, bonus question.
Yes.
Or really a request.
Right.
What message do you have for Texans who are still suspicious about the program, and more specifically the products in the program?
Sure. Good question. I think that really just knowing that there's confidence in the people that are making your products. It's people like me who love it. It's people like Dylan who believe in it. It's the people that actually know that this plant is doing something, and I think the fact that we've put so much hard work in, you could really just look it up. I mean, Good Blend is an amazing company, and we really are believing in, taking care of our people. And I think ultimately, because I feel like everything that's gone into the, program in Texas, we're trying to get this medicine out there.
Right.
We're doing our best. And if you have any questions about it, it's a simple Google away. It's a simple question ask away. Just look it up. And then if you have a question about that question, ask about that question.
That's right.
It'll send you on a rabbit hole of fantastic information. There's so many resources out there. I can't remember the best website that I had been going to recently when I've been sending people information who have been asking me, oh, you're in medical marijuana? I'm so curious. What can you tell me about it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, bloop, sending this. I wish I could remember it off the top of my head, but I'm just sending the links. Please do.
All of the links in this podcast. You'll get all the information.
Well,
Trust me.
Please do. And
I get
people
find it.
Feeling like you might not know or think that this is worth the price or whatever it is that goes into getting you like the medicine that works for you. I understand being suspicious because it's kind of a crazy thing that we're doing right now, and it's been more than enough time of research and development on all sides. So just look into it, and that's all you can do. You've got the internet. It's usually in your phone in your pocket. Ask some questions and you'll get great answers, and if not, just send Good Blend on Instagram a question, or you a question. Please. Or anybody who has the curiosity. We have answers. So,
amen, sister.
Yeah.
Thank you for this
Heck
time.
yeah.
Please come back. Let's do this
Yeah.
more. If you'd like more, subscribe to the Feminized Podcast on YouTube. Follow at Feminized with Liz Grow on Instagram. Special thanks to our sponsors, Moose Labs and Richard's Rainwater. The Feminized Podcast is a Grow House Media production, created by Liz Grow, produced by Patrick Pope and Tanis Ray, with original theme music and audio mixing by Q at Q to King Productions in New Braunfels, Texas.